Go. So for today, a function eats another function. The f function just ate the g function. All right, well, that's kind of like, imagine there's a little fish swimming in the ocean, and out of nowhere, bigger fish comes, chomp, eats him. Would you agree that has happened sometime during when classes started just now? Some fish ate another fish, right? In the ocean, it's probably happened 1,000 times in the first 2 minutes of class. What would be a little more rare if then right away another fish eats this fish. And then you'd have a fish inside of a fish inside of a fish, and that actually could happen. And then I wonder what the most in one day has ever been. Where you get another slightly bigger fish to eat these guys, and then a bigger fish to eat those, and then like at the end it's like some kind of a giant shark or whale or something that eats all of them. So that is like f of x. This is like f of x. And he just ate a g of x. The one function eats the other. I'll show you. Everybody please write this down. F of x equals 2x plus 7. And the g of x, the one that's going to get eaten, is just x plus 1. Got that copied down? So when f eats g, it looks like this. F eats g. And you can look inside of it and see, look. The g is the one that got eaten. He's still alive inside there. That actually happens. There are times when I have caught fish in the lake, pull them out, and all of a sudden, inside of that fish, they like puke up another fish. So I've got this fish, and then there's this little tiny fish that comes out because they're all under stress because they just got, lifted out of the water, and they puke up a little other fish. Now, I've never had that other fish be alive, but it would be possible. I have had crayfish get puked up that like moved. They were just like not quite dead. So yeah, there's times when this could be inside of the other thing and still be alive. All right. Well, this function is going to eat this function. How can that happen? Well, here's his stomach, and I'm going to put an empty spot right there. And a parentheses. A lot of kids got goofed up by the fact they were like, there's parentheses? When there's an x, there's parentheses. And now that makes room for him to eat this function. And now the x plus 1 is in there. You see, it's like you can look at it and say, I opened up this fish and I was like, what did he eat? He ate an x plus 1. That's a function eating another function. So the answer for this is 2 parentheses plus 7, where it eats an x plus 1. And you can see this is still right there inside of them. That's one function eating another function. That's called a composition of functions. All right. So, is that it? Well, kind of. It's just you have to do that with graphs, charts, all kinds of other things. And sometimes it's like f of g of 2. And that means the g function ate a 2, and then the f function ate all of that. All right, I'm just going to recopy these down. We'll use the same exact functions. F of x is going to be 2x plus 7. And g of x is going to be x plus 1. Whenever math gets complicated, you do one thing at a time. Just one thing. So where do you start? You start on the inside. You do g of 2. Just that. All you got to do right now is stick a 2 into the g. Everybody do that. Stick a 2 into the g function, and then you got the answer really quick. Get if I stick a 2 into the g function? I could do this, but all it is saying g of 2 is, and then the 2 here actually adds to the 1, and what is g of 2 equal to? 2 plus 1 is 3. So g of 2 is 3. Do you get how I got 3? Then this is 3. G of 2 came out to 3, and now I know I have a 3 right here. Well, how do I end then? F of 3. See, I haven't done the f function yet. It hasn't eaten anything. The f function has not even been involved yet. But now the f function is going to eat this. F of 3. So then I put the 3 here. And that's just labeling it. F of 3 is, put the 3 here. 6 plus 7, 13. Did anybody have 13 before I said it? Nice. One step at a time. I started on the inside. I figured out g of 2. G of 2 came out to 3. Then I crossed this off and I put a 3. And then it was f of 3. So I stuck a 3 into the f function right here. And it came out to 6 plus 7 is 13. Done. The answer is just 13. You don't have to relabel it with all that complicated stuff. The Schoology quiz today, you would just have typed a 13. The end. All right. So I want to show you what this thing has to say. So g of x got eaten by the bigger predator function, f of x. F ate the g. Okay. And now when you get this answer, it becomes the input that you put into f. So if you figured out that this came out to like 8, then you just do f of 8. About that, let's go to this page, which I don't really like, so we're going to go to this page. This is a good page. G ate an f, which ate a 1. So one step at a time. You start on the inside. You find f of 1. Would everybody please just figure out f of 1? Right here. Stick a 1 in the f function. Asen, what did you get when you stuck a 1 in the f function?
For the f function?
Yep. It is -1. So we figured out f of 1, and it was -1. I put it here, because that's where f of 1 is. I replace the f of 1 with -1, because 2 minus 3 here is -1. Now, what's my new problem? G of -1. All it is 2 little separate problems. You do the inside problem, you get an answer. And then we do the outside one, G of -1. Now this one, some people don't still understand what these absolute value bars do. First you do what's inside them. -1 plus 4 is 3. But then what does the bars on the 3 mean again? That means take whatever your answer is, in this case 3, and make it positive. What if it already is positive and it's still positive? The answers just always come out positive, or the lowest they could come out is 0. There's no way you could have a negative answer because this is a distance. The bars actually mean what is this thing's distance from 0, and distances are always positive or 0. So final answer for this, the absolute values just make whatever it is positive. So this is +3, final answer. Notice it's just a number. No complicated notation like f of g of x is equal to blah, blah. You just say the answer is just 3. All right. I did that one pretty much. Would you please do this one? Starting with g of -9. Ending with f of something. First figure out g of -9. What you should be doing right now is writing a -9 in and putting it in the g. all this says is g of -9. It's just a label. It's like, this is what you want, huh? You want me to put -9 into the g? Okay, and then the actual answer's here. And this will test whether you really understand those absolute value things. Your answer is a simple single-digit number. Would you please talk to the kid I always pair you with, right across from you? See what you got. All right, to start with, I know some of you were confused because you're hearing the answer 7 and you're like, what? I got 5. Well, that's because they got 5 for this. It was -5. The absolute value bars make it regular 5. The 5 you got was just this. The people that are saying 7 is the answer is because they're already on to the next part, which is f of 5. So you go put the 5 here and the 5 here, and then you got 10 minus 3 is 7. Final answer is just 7. How many of you had that right without help? Sweet. Okay. Now it's a table. You can do this one step at a time. Math is just one little step at a time. R of 2. I see the R function. And then when I see that, I just narrow it down and go, I'm only looking in here. And then I go, where the heck is the 2? Oh yeah, the 2 is the x. See, that's where x goes. It's like f of x, you know? So x is 2 is right here. That's where x is 2. So you go like that. Who had 4 before I said it? Nice. Okay. This one, the inside's already done because we already did R of 2 2 seconds ago. R of 2 is 4. We already know that. It's right there. So that's 4. So finish the problem. P of 4. Here's P. Here's the 4. P of 4, 10. Are you getting this? Okay. Without my help, figure out R of J of -2, that last problem. And then it'll be a nice simple answer like 7. And then compare it with the kid next to you. But wait till they're done. You can just ask them like, are you done? So how do you start? You start with J of -2. J of -2. 0. What do I do with the 0? I put it here. R of 0 then. Here's R. And that's not it. Otherwise you'd be like, what's the answer? R of 0 is not that spot. R of 0 is, that's where the 0 is, that's where the R is, and they overlap right there, -15. Without my help, who had -15? All right, thank you. And I feel like you're getting this, which is awesome. Now it's in a graph. Now the smartest thing, if you had tons of time, would be to take all of these points and put like a dot and then say like, this is called this, you know, this spot here is like 3,7, but you don't have time to do that. I mean, there's so many dots. So let's just do one at a time. Start here. G of -4. Would you agree G is the red one? Sure. So G's the red one. So we're only going to look at the red one. Just ignore the black graph. Just look at the red one and find that is where the x goes. They're telling you that the x value is -4. Somewhere on the red graph, x is -4. There's only one place on the whole red graph where x is -4. Try to find it. Where is the one place on G, which is the red graph, where x is -4? Did you find that spot right there? Is that where you were looking? Awesome. Then you were looking in the right spot. On the red graph, that's the only spot where x is -1, -2, -3, -4. It's that spot. -4, comma 2. So 2 is the new thing. I already had the -4, so it's 2. That's 2. Now what's my new problem? F of 2. Got to switch to the black line. F of 2. On the black graph, F of 2. X is 2. On the black line, there's only one spot where x is 2. I think it's right there. Over 2, see? That's my spot. So I'm going to label that spot. That spot right there is 2, 3. And if I want f of 2, you got to know that when you see a point like this, this means f of 2 is 3. That's what that means. So I already had the 2. I want the 3 part. The answer is just 3. These are tough. And if they're like too tough for you, understand that on the test, this one is one of those where you've already built your C up. You'll have 5 chances to add 5% to that. Okay, so if you've got some sort of form of a C, maybe it's a 70%, maybe it's a 75%, depends on how good your easy problems were. But if you've got your C going in, now just add 5% if you can figure out this kind. I don't think they're that bad. One step at a time. So let's find f of 9. Figure out that answer, and then g of that. F of 9. Well, I'm on the black graph, and that's the x spot. On the black graph where x is 9 is what they're telling you. Pretty sure it's right there. That's where x is 9. I just counted it. That's 9. It's on the black graph. It's 9, 0. So what's f of 9? 0. That part's 0. Now it's a new problem. Now it's g of 0. Jason, stay with me. Can't look like you're asleep or I'm going to call you all the time. Damien, g of 0. Which function is the g function? Is it the red one or the black one? Don't guess, it's up there. I mean, it's actually in your notes. You'll be able to see it better because mine are. Okay, so we want g of 0. On the red function, x, this is the x spot, is 0. The g function, which is the red one, where x is 0. You see it? Where's the spot on the red function where x is 0? It is right here. Who was looking at the right spot? Right there. That's where x is 0. If you didn't know that, see, this is where x is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where x is 0. This is where x is -1, x is 0. Oh, so there. That spot's where x is 0. 0 comma something. 0 comma 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0 comma 7. So I just figured out G of 0, because look, G of 0 is 7. 7. Who had a 7 before I said it? Okay, we're up to about 3/4 of you. And again, if this one's too hard for you, it's okay. You just won't get that 5%. We have made it to the end. Now, I want to go back and review the example of what the easy part of the test is going to be kind of like. Okay? So focus on this and see if you could have got a 75%. I'm just going to give you a sample of 4 of the easy kinds from the test. You ready? All right. If f of x is the absolute value of x plus 5, and g of x is equal to 2x, what's 2 g of 3? That would be one of the easy kind of questions we would expect you to know. Maybe you're not on track to know 3 out of 4 of these yet, but you can be by Thursday. One step at a time. What's g of 3? That's your first job. Figure out g of 3. Remington, have you got g of 3 yet?
Yeah.
What is it?
6.
You're right. It's 6. Because look, I put a 3 into the g. That means times. So it's 6. Is the whole thing 6 then? No, just this part is 6. And at the end, you just go 2 times 6. 12. You can always start with g of 3. It came out to 6, and then it's just 2 times 6. All right. Here's another one like that. F of 3 over g of 2. Figure out f of 3 over g of 2. One thing at a time. Don't let your brain get overloaded. Because once you get overloaded, you just can't do anything. So, one thing at a time. Start with f of 3. Stick 3 in to the f function. 3 plus 5 is 8. What do those absolute values do? They make it positive. Well, it already was positive. So what's the answer? 8. Then you do g of 2. We're sticking a 2 in this function. So right in here, we're going to put a 2. And also there. I like to write it right above it. G of 2 is 2 times 2, which is 4. And I'm amazed at how many kids' brains go dead right there. Because it's like, well, what do I put? Well, if you put 8/4 on the test, it means you not thinking. Because isn't 8 divided by 4 equal to something that you probably know? 2. If you type in 8/4 on this 8/4 on the Schoology quiz, it's going to mark it wrong because you're supposed to know that. But here's a way you can always fix that. Do you get a calculator? Do you get that you can divide these two numbers and give a decimal answer? If you divide it, it'll just say 2. And then you'll be like, oh yeah, it's actually just 2. So use the calculator at the end when you got a fraction. Just divide them. And if it comes out to like 1.6, cool. 1.6 is fine. All right. So that's 2 questions that are typical of your test. Here's another one that's typical of the easy part of the test. If I gave you that this was -1, 1, this point here is 3, 4, and this point here is 6, -1. I'm giving you all that. And then all I'm asking you is, what's 4f of 6? One thing at a time. F of 6. What's F of 6?
1.
All right.
-1.
Negative 1. F of 6 is -1. You got to get used to looking at points and going, that's what that means. Any point, f of the x is equal to the y. So f of the 6 is equal to -1. So f of 6 is -1, so that's -1. And now 4 times -1, and that is -4. That's 3 of the types of questions that you have to know for your test. The easy part of your test. One more of the easy ones. Five G of 2. So if you can get 3/4 of these easy problems right, you'll end up with some kind of C. And then you add 5% for each hard one you can do. And the hard ones are just more complicated ones like this. G of 2, stick a 2 in here, and here if you want, but that's just labeling it. G of 2 is 2 minus 7, -5. Absolute value bars, did you remember to make it +5? And then +5 minus 2 is 3. But you're not done. The answer isn't 3 over here. No, this is 3. You don't want to forget to times it by 5. If you got 3, you should put it there. And then 5 times the 3, final answer 15. Who had 15 before I said it? Okay, awesome. So, do you get that's the easy kinds? And then for each of the hard ones, like for example, if this is g of x and this is f of x, what if I said f of g of 1? That's one of the harder kinds. Always do one step at a time. Start on the inside. G of 1. 1 goes here, 1 goes here. This comes out -6, but then the absolute values make it +6. 6 minus 2, 4. I just did this, I got 4. Now you do f of 4. 4 goes here, it's 16. That was kind of an easy one of the harder ones. Like, could have done that. All right, so if you don't feel ready for the test, that's okay, because it's not tomorrow. But it's the next day. So today during class, let's start that Schoology quiz right now. There's a Schoology quiz. A lot of kids finished it during class. Open it up, get it started. I would strongly recommend, I'm seeing a few more kids that are having calculators out. That is smart. You got a calculator on your test. Why not get ready by having a calculator out now? And like, get used to it. You can't use your iPad on the test, you know that. All right, so there's the Schoology quiz. Open it up. If you're ready to read me the first problem. I'll let my dice of destiny pick the reader. But be ready, please. I don't know who the dice are going to pick. Row 6, the big one's the row. Person 2. All right, Ruby, can you tell me what number 1 says? I know it's kind of longish, gives you f of x, gives you g of x. Can you tell me what f of x is? This is question 1. Okay, I will come back to you to read me question 2. Asen, would you read me question 1?
F of x is 3x minus 4 divided by 3.
Thank you. What's g of x?
G of x is x squared minus 3.
And what do they actually want me to do?
F of g of 3.
Excellent. You said it perfectly. Surprising number of kids don't know how to say that. F of g of 3. Good. F of g of 3. How do I start that with the g of 3? G is that red one. Put 3 in. 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 3, 6. And then the 6 goes here. And now it's f of 6. F of 6. So the 6 goes here. And then you would just type it in your calculator exactly as you see it. I'm not going to give the final answer, but the answer is just a number. It's like 5. So you do this times this minus that, and then divide by 2, and then you'll get your answer. All right. So if you wanted to do it a little faster, you'd just go 6 and 3 is 18, 18 minus 4. You could do that 18 minus 4 in your head, couldn't you? 18 minus 4, I think it's 14. You know, it's just normal math. You can use a calculator if you want. All right, so now you have a Schoology quiz, and this is a really important time because these are a little tricky, and you have to decide if you're going to ask or if you're just going to sit there and struggle. And I want to help you, but you have to be willing to ask me. All right, if you walk up, I'll help you. Bring your iPad. Let me help. Tomorrow's the review day. Test is Thursday. That's all I got for you for today.